My first love in life was basketball. I remember as a kid growing up and dreaming about playing in the NBA. I watched the NBA. I watched the way the guys played, studied their moves, and dreamed about one day playing in the NBA. I started playing basketball at 10 years old, played it throughout my teens, and I learned around 15, 16, 17 years old, something like that I wasn't the best, kid around the place. And it was like 17, 18 years old, I kind of had this like aha moment where I kind of looked around and I thought, man, I'm not even the best in my team. Nobody knows of Ivan. I haven't been scouted by the national junior team. I'm not really the best player in my kind of team or league or anything like this. And at 18 years old, man, like I'm looking around, I'm following the NBA, and this 18-year-old dude's being drafted in the NBA. And so I started to feel pressure. I started to feel like this wasn't going to be it. And then for the next 2 years, I kind of thought, okay, the NBA is probably a far-fetched idea, but I might be able to kind of make the local league here, kind of professional league, the National League of Australia. And so for a moment that I was kind of hoping that would happen. And then I kind of made it to the reserve level of this one kind of local league here in Adelaide. And I kind of started playing for the reserves team. And then, through the trainings, you kind of get exposed to some guys who kind of used to play professionally. And I remember training with this one fella who was 25, so like 6, 7 years older than me. And I remember thinking to myself, man, I'm far, far, far away of this guy. And he was having trouble to kind of break through into the professional league. And so I remember coming home that night, having a good old think. And I thought about this for the next few days. Ended up calling the coach before the next training session, and I said to him, look, man, I'm not going to come to tonight's training session. I'm going to give this up and I'm going to focus on my nursing studies. This was at 20 years old, and I'm going to try and put in a couple of good years of good grades, and hopefully that will kind of put me in good stead, in getting a good position at a hospital, and I'll kind of pursue that idea. It was a very, very hard night for me. It's always very difficult to kind of give up your dream. But it was kind of, the writing was sort of on the wall, if you will. The last few years, I kind of trained really hard. I tried to kind of push and tried to kind of do the right things, but I didn't see it, and the dream started fading. And that was basically it. That was the end of my dream at 20 years old. From 10 years old to 20, that was my basketball career. I had to be honest with myself. And I didn't want to be that guy who kind of lingers around playing in some of these junior leagues, in these amateur leagues forever. Because for me, the way I am, either I'm all in or I'm all out. I can't mess around with something that I love. I tried playing social after that period. I tried to play kind of like pick-up basketball. And it was good for a little bit, but it was really hard for me to kind of not go hard. And when you're playing social basketball, when you're kind of playing pickup games, you're not supposed to go all out. Like, you're not supposed to hurt somebody else, or you're not supposed to hurt yourself. Basically, the last time I played some sort of pickup basketball was probably 5 years ago, probably before my son was born. I rolled my ankle really badly, snapped it. And that was basically it. After that, when I gave up basketball at 20 years old, like when I called the coach that day, there was a big void to fill, a big, big void, because I was training 2-3 times a week with the team, playing once a week. And even that kind of playing at that reserve level, I was a bench warmer at that point. And so I thought to myself, I'm devoting a lot of time into this. I'm not getting the minutes. And it's unlikely for me to do anything. So I kind of made that decision, and then there was a void. And so naturally, I still wanted to kind of keep fit. Somehow I made my way into the gym, started doing the bro splits, and then eventually I found strength training, found squatting, deadlifting, benching, all that sort of stuff, powerlifting. And I've managed to kind of fall in love with this sport, if you will, this idea, this endeavor. And I've kind of filled that void with this. And so you guys see me wearing these NBA jerseys. I've got a lot of them, probably over 70 now. So it's kind of like I'm wearing my old dream while pursuing my new dream. The new dream is 300 kilo squat. So even though I'm not good enough to play in the NBA, I'll never be part of that dream. I'm kind of working really, really hard to make sure that I don't have two failed dreams. And So every time I kind of wear these jerseys, these jerseys are not kind of like just colorful things that I wear. Every time I look at them, I think about my childhood, because that's really what it was. My two best friends that I'm still like, they're like brothers to me right now. I met them on the basketball court. Basketball has taught me teamwork. It's taught me how to dream. It's taught me how to fight hard, how to work hard. It's taught me a lot of things that made me who I am today. It kept me off the street. My parents came to Australia. There was, two teenage kids. And a lot of people in my position, in my family's position, a lot of these kids would kind of wander on the streets and get in the wrong crowds and whatever. For me, basketball was the vision. All I wanted to do was be Peja Stojakovic. All I wanted to do was be Allen Iverson. And I was never the tallest kid. I was actually one of the smallest kids throughout high school. I kind of had a late growth spurt, so I was always kind of dribbling, imagining Allen Iverson, imagining shooting threes like Peja Stojakovic. So that was kind of the foundational moments of my life in terms of growing up. Taught me these lessons, brought my two best friends into my life, and we're really, really close now. They're like practically my brothers. So even though this dream was kind of failed, there was a lot of carryover, a weightlifting term that we use often. There was a lot of carryover that I got out of it. Now I'm a different human being. Now I'm in a resus room, and when there's a really high pressure situation, my organism is not foreign to it. I know what it's like to be shooting, to be on the free throw line shooting for the game, and there's 2 seconds left on the shot clock, on the game clock. I know what it takes to kind of run lines, run suicides, run lines, to be running sand dunes. I know what it's like to be beaten. All those lessons, that the pain of getting beat predominantly. I remember the feeling of calling the coach and telling him I ain't rocking up, my dream's over. I remember how that felt. So there's a lot of emotions here that I've kind of been through, that I've learned, and there's a lot of benefit there that basketball offered me. So it's definitely a positive experience for me. But every time I grab one of these NBA tops, I think about my childhood. I think about where I come from, and I take all of those lessons with me under the bar. So now I'm 32. I'm chasing this 300 kilo squat, and I'm all about that. But today we decided to go to this local YMCA, play some basketball. You saw me there shooting around. I still know how to shoot. It's been a long time since the last time I played pickup basketball. It's probably been a year now since the last time I actually properly shot the basketball or dribbled and did a layup or any of that. Part of the reason for that is that I'm one of those guys that's like all in or nothing, So I can't flirt with the girl that I love. If she doesn't want me, I don't want to be there. You know what I mean? So basketball was kind of like that old love for me, and it hurts me to kind of be around other basketball players. It hurts me to be around other guys who are dreaming what I dreamed about and don't go hard. Like, I can't go hard now. We were joking around with my two mates today. I feel like an old man. Like these joints in the last 7 years have been getting used to weight training. I don't have that explosion anymore. I used to be really quick on my feet. I can't really jump all that high anymore. Like, even though I can probably still, you saw in the video, I can still grab the ring. There's a lot more horsepower now that I had back in the day. But now, like, all those like ligaments and tendons, they're not used to producing power. They're used to producing strength. So it's a completely different kind of situation to produce strength quickly, power. Moving yourself through space quickly is different than moving yourself through space slowly with a heavy thing on your back. So that rate of force production, that needs to be trained, and I have not trained it. So a part of me today was thinking about actually incorporating some power training, and to see actually how high I can actually dunk if I incorporate this, because there's a lot more horsepower underneath me. I just got to put it down on the ground, if you will. But anyways, it was a nice experience. This YMCA had a gym attached to it, or part of the complex. So we went into the gym today, had a workout, worked up to 200, back off 180 for 3, did some bench press, did the Bilbo set, as you're seeing here now. Actually, no, this isn't the Bilbo set. I'm working up to the Bilbo set. I did 120 for 1, and that was basically it. And after that, we had some food, and that was the day. But this is the first time that you guys are seeing me shoot or jump or be on the basketball court. So I thought I'd just provide the context why you don't see me do this anymore. A large portion of it is that, well, I'm a busy guy. Like, I work, I've got a young family, and I feel like each of my hours throughout the day or throughout the week needs to be kind of spent with things that are kind of, benefiting me in some way. Basketball is always there. When I have free time, I'll check the scores, I watch the NBA, all of that stuff. But it's one of those things that I don't enjoy being shit at basketball. I don't enjoy flirting with somebody that I loved. So now I'm all about the 300 kilo squat, and that's where I want to spend my time. So instead of going and wasting 30 minutes on the basketball court, I feel like I just want to be under the squat rack or thinking about the things that I want to be doing there. So that's kind of how I feel about it. It's I don't know whether you guys feel the same way about some of the things that you've kind of let go. And also, like, for me, I've always said to my mates that I don't like going to a basketball court for a shoot around. I feel like I'd want to play. I want to have a defender on me. I want to dribble and pass and think about setting screens and all that stuff, playing help defense, all that stuff. I never really enjoyed shooting around. But so there were some basketball guys over there in the stadium today. So there was opportunity there to play 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5, or whatever. I can't do that because I know I'll get injured. I know very well that if I'll jump and I'll land incorrectly and I'll get injured because my body's simply not used to at all anyway. It's completely forgotten about how it is to move as a basketball player. And also now I'm a bit heavier, and all these ankles and knees and hips, they're not used to the change of direction and whatever. And that's why you don't see me play basketball at all, because I'm one of those guys that I focus on one thing and I do one thing, and it's not like I have all of that free time anyway. Between training and uploading these videos, so that's basically all my free time. The rest of the time, I don't want to mess around with anything else. I just want to spend with my family, and that's about it. I know a lot of you guys have said to me, why don't you go and show us how you play basketball, or how you jump, or how you shoot, and whatever. And so, I mean, today was fun. Don't get me wrong; it was really, really fun. But it's not something that I enjoy to the same extent that I enjoy squatting. Like, you know what I mean? Like I powerlifting, whatever you want to call it, weightlifting, is the thing for me now. So all of my time, I want to spend under the bar. So that's basically the story behind basketball for me. It was a childhood dream. I'm sure, like, a lot of you guys are listening to this and you think to yourself, yeah, I was in the same basket and blah, 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 blah. And I'm sure a lot of you guys still play basketball. It's just I processed that trauma. I processed that disappointment a lot differently. Like, I tried to stay around basketball after I gave it up, but it was not the same. And I've since kind of heard Kobe Bryant talk about the same thing. Obviously Kobe Bryant climbed Mount Rushmore. He was in the top 5, top 4, probably, in the history of the NBA. It depends who you talk to. I guess it's up for debate. But even when he gave it up, he was like, I'm done. Time to move on to the next project. Think about something else. I'm kind of like that. I can't be half-assing basketball, man. I can't do it. I love that thing too much to be disrespecting it like that. I can't be on the basketball court standing around and wasting time. Either I'm there running suicides and busting some guy's balls, locking him down, trying to strip him and run the other end and lay it up, or I'm catching a swing pass and shooting that short corner 3 or something like that's what I'm thinking to myself. I can't be doing this half-assed. That's why, like, that's the way I am, man. So squat every day is kind of me, man. I'm kind of extreme like that. I'm about 300 kilo squat. That's my goal. Basketball, shooting threes and laying it up, that's completely different. That's not the thing anymore. Even though these NBA jerseys kind of are making that old dream kind of live through me. So it's kind of like a connection between, I guess, my past life and my current life in a way. But that's kind of how I am. I'm very much focused. Kind of like Kobe Bryant. That's probably the only thing I have in common with Kobe Bryant. But anyway, guys, I can just touch the ring, and I wonder if I put some time into power training, would I be able to increase that? Would I be able to maybe one day dunk the ball? I'm not sure if my body would agree at 32 years old. I'm sure it's possible. But it's 300 kilo squat and a dunk. I don't know if those two things can be done at the same time. maybe they can. But I think I need to change my training. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.